Hi, I'm Jason. This is Wine Chat, and if you've been watching us for a while, I do want to apologize for the delay. We're not going to get into that right now, but I'm just going to say it's circumstances beyond our control. Chris is out of the coma. We expect him to make a full recovery. He's relearning to read and tie his shoes at the moment. I'm kidding, of course, as Chris can't read. But he will be back in a couple weeks. And in the meantime, I'm here with Michael Honig of Honig Wines. Is it Honig Wines or Honig Winery?
Honig Vineyard and Winery.
Honig Vineyard and Winery in Napa. And we're going to talk about today's word of the day. And we're not going to do any fireworks when it happens here, but you feel free to do that at home. And the word of the day is sustainability. Mm-hmm. And the first question I have for you, sustainability, because I'm seeing this a lot more lately, but I'm not seeing the word organic. Why sustainable and not organic? Is it easier to be sustainable than organic? What's the difference?
No, I think it's philosophical. I'm already regulated by the feds, the state, the county. I didn't want another regulatory agency telling us how to run our business. That's one thing. The other thing I have in the problem with organics is you can be an organic farmer and still destroy the environment. It really talks about herbicide and pesticides primarily. And we as a business are so much more involved in terms of sustainability being solar, which we're solar, wind power, water conservation, employee benefits, recycling, all the other things that go in to make a sustainable business. So I think sustainability really is more about what we do as a business versus organics, which is really only defining herbicide and pesticide use. So I think it's more inclusive and more of an appropriate terminology for how we run our business and how we make our wine.
And you mentioned solar, and I've got this lovely postcard in front of me. And you're 100% solar powered at this point.
We have a system that is set up to run or have enough power for my winery and for my home.
What is the both initial and long-term cost increase to growing and making wine sustainably?
Well, I mean, excluding the solar, because that's a whole different application, but just the general day-to-day business practices being sustainable versus non-sustainable, organic, whatever the cost might be, or the term may be. I would make the argument that it's actually cheaper to farm the way we do and make our wines because, for a number of reasons. One, if you look to longevity of a vine, and if I can make our vines last longer, it's an opportunity for us to actually spend less on our vineyard practices. The other thing is from the standpoint of quality. I mean, sustainability, one of the issues of sustainability is staying in business. So the better our wine is, the better we compete on a world stage, the better that we are going to do as a business. The other issues that come into it, a lot of the practices that we do are actually less expensive. I'm going to look at that bottle right there. We use a very thin, lightweight glass bottle with a lot of recycled content. That bottle is actually less expensive, yet it's better for the environment because making glass is a huge amount of energy. It's weight when we ship it, so it's less weight to ship. And about 60+% of this particular bottle is actually recycled glass. So we get a better product for us in terms of cheaper. The same product for a consumer, you would never know the difference if I put a traditional bottle up in this bottle here. And we're helping society. So in my contention is the things that we're doing be sustainable are actually benefiting society because in a lot of ways they're less energy, less material, better cost for us. So in the long run, I think it's cheaper to farm this way and to make wine this way.
So there's no additional cost that would be passed on to the consumer?
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's an investment in your future.
We do it, then think about what we are as grape growers and winemakers. We're farmers first. We don't grow bottles on our vines. We are growing grapes. So if we could have a grape that's more flavorful, more concentrated, has more character, and do our little magic to make it into wine, again, that makes a better wine in my estimation. The same way when you buy a tomato at a Whole Foods store versus a generic grocery store, and you bite into that piece of fruit or you make a sauce from that piece of fruit, again, the complexity of the one that's grown sustainably is so much different than the one that was grown in Argentina and picked green and gassed and shipped around the world. So think of that in the context of winemaking. Again, having these more flavorful grapes, more concentrated fruit, gives us a more concentrated wine. So whether you believe in sustainability or care about the polar bears or just want to drive an Escalade and could care less, again, I'm not here to preach to anyone, but from the standpoint of a qualitative issue, I believe that the practices that we have in place are making better and better wines.
So, bottom line, black and white statement, you think the wine is better for being sustainable?
Hands down, it's better. It doesn't necessarily cost us any more. And the last thing that we need is think about us as a generational business. You know, I'm a caretaker for my generation for the Honig family. I've been doing this for 27 years. My goal is to create a system and a business that is going to be passed to the next generation. Well, if I destroy my environment, if I destroy my water, if I just don't give my employees benefits, we have no business to pass to the future. So by doing these different processes, I believe, again, we're setting something up that not only is giving us a better long-term viability as a business, also giving the consumer a better product, and all these other things are also helping create a better environment for society.
Let me ask you, because I think 10 years ago, I rarely heard the word organic and had not really heard the word sustainable in relation to wine. Mm-hmm. And it becomes hard at some point to believe that this might not be a fad or a fashion. And there are certainly those who would criticize it and say that. Mm-hmm. How do you respond to that sort of criticism?
Well, you got to remember, again, as farmers, it is somewhat trendy, if you want to use the last 10 years, sustainability, organic, biodynamic, whatever the term might be. But think about farmers 100 years ago. We did the things that we're doing now in the sense that we didn't have herbicides, we didn't have pesticides. We had to pay attention to land because that was the value of what we had. And I think the chemical companies have done an amazing job of promoting their products since the 60s. And chemicals make you stupid. And I don't mean make you stupid in the sense that our babies...
That's a broad thing, I think. Yeah. We at Wine Chat feel that... Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Chemicals, yeah. Sponsored by Dow. Yeah. But no, I mean, and I don't mean in terms of having babies with 3 eyes. I mean in terms of making decisions easier. Because all you do is you go out and spray some chemical and it kills everything. How easy is that? What a panacea. The problem is as a farmer, you need to get out of your pickup. You need to experience and see what's going on in the vineyard and make decisions. And when you just use a chemical, it makes it easy, but unfortunately, in the long term, it doesn't make it easier. It actually makes it more difficult. So going back to the premise that we want to make something that's going to be here for a long, long time, we need to create an environment that's healthy. We want to make a product that's going to last. So I don't think this is trendy. And again, if you go back 100 years, this is just the way farmers... It was called natural farming. It's just kind of the way we did it. Now you have these little buzzwords, but I don't think it's any different. I don't think it's a trend. And I certainly don't think it's going away for the variety of reasons I've already described. Quality, environmental, value.
So, fair enough. That's a convincing argument. I thought that was pretty good. Yeah.